Okay, so this is what I was talking about with the forgery. This is what I was talking about with the case file for the family law case in Shasta County Superior Court. Okay, those case files and the paperwork that was legally filed in Shasta County has been changed. It's been altered and modified, and that would mean that someone else that has access to the case file has been changing records this entire time. And I've noticed a lot more has been changed since I was arrested last time and thrown in jail. Okay, I was arrested last time for child abuse charges, and I never committed that crime. I would never hurt my kids. Okay, but there was a Judge Gibson was concerned about getting investigated from the state attorney general's office and from federal law enforcement. So he had the motive to go through these case files and change everything. Now, I personally don't think that the district attorney's office and Judge Gibson and these other criminals expected me to get out of jail. Okay, I think that they planned on me going to prison for a long time, and then they wouldn't have to worry about going through the case file. But once I got back from LA County and was basically going to get released from jail, what I heard was that my case was going to be dismissed and that I was going to be released from jail, but that never happened. My attorney, my public defender, basically told me that the district attorney's office was pissed because I contacted the state attorney general's office and I needed to plead no contest to the charges to be let out of jail. And basically what he said was that if I didn't plead no contest and I took it to trial, then the DA was going to leave me in jail for an extra 3 years. Like basically, they would just leave me in jail the whole entire time that I was trying to fight the case in trial. So my plan was to plead no contest to get out so that I could provide this evidence to the state as well as federal law enforcement and start going through the things that I've noticed in the case file that are obvious, forgery, obviously been changed by judges in Shasta County, as well as the district attorney's office has been aware of this. And right now they're trying to violate my probation and throw me in jail. Okay, so let me just go over this. And this is a really obvious that somebody else changed this. Okay, this is filed by me. Okay, my address, my name, Kendra as the petitioner and me as the respondent. And then it's for child custody and visitation. And it says Jason Lord is not to be around minor children. Okay, this was filed on January 10th, 2020 with this case number 185939. There's two case numbers involved in this case. The other case number is 194478. And that was how they were able to avoid investigation as well as, kind of just redirect the authorities away from both cases to go through all the case files. Now, I've said from the beginning, especially last year, I said that these case files need to be gone through. They need to be compared to the paperwork that I've saved this entire time, but as well that you can't go off of the case file that's in Shasta County Superior Court because it's been changed and it's been modified by the people that have committed the crimes and are trying to avoid prosecution. Okay, so that doesn't make sense to look at the case file in Shasta County without reference to some of the other paperwork that I have saved. Now, notice of hearing to Kendra, date 1/27/20 at 1:30. Right? It says right here at the bottom, parents to follow 217 court order. Jace is not to be left alone in the presence of Jason Lord. Okay, and then this is signed by Commissioner Stromberg and received and dated on January 8th, 2020. Okay, that means that now this is really important. Okay, and these are the things that will jump out at you right away when they've forged documents or modified documents. Okay, it was filed on January 10th. Okay, it was received by the clerk's office on January 8th, 2020. That means that a clerk from that's certified by the state of California to go through paperwork, make sure it's legally filed correctly. Okay, and they receive the paperwork, and then they file the paperwork once it's been granted or approved by a judge. That's typically the way that things go. And what I've noticed is that these dates and these times have been changed in our paperwork, and somebody else is changing them. Now that would mean there's only a few people or handful of people in Shasta County Superior Court that are that have access to all the case files like that, and judges are number one on that list, especially Judge Gibson, because he's been trying to avoid going to prison for life because of this case. Okay, now prison for life is a huge motivation, huge reason to motivate somebody to lie and to break the law. Okay, now look, filed on January 10th. Look at how the stamp is kind of offset a little bit. All right, case number. Usually the case number is stamped by the court, but some cases they write it in. And to Kendra, right? Now look at this. January 10th. Same clerk. Case number. Okay. The petitioner in this paperwork, or I'm sorry, the person that filed this paperwork is Kendra. All right. And the petitioner is Kendra and the respondent is me. Okay. And it's the same paperwork: child custody, visitation, temporary emergency custody orders. Now, this does not say Jason is not to be around the minor children. And then it says here, to Jacob Snyder. The same court date, 1/27/20, 1:30, Department 5. Same boxes checked, same dates, and same comment on the bottom, okay? The only difference is on the bottom is it doesn't say received by January 8th, 2020. And then a little bit of this has been changed. Now let me just compare real quick what I'm showing you, okay? And the reason why this has been changed in the case file, I'll go over that at the end of the video here. Now look at the difference, right? This has been crossed out, changed, okay? And then the setting of the writing has been changed. Do you see now what I'm talking about? This starts at not to be left alone in the presence of Jason Lord. And then this one says to be left alone in the presence of Jason Lord. And then this says Jace is not to be left alone in the presence of Jason Lord. And then this one was supposed to be of all minor children, but it says Jace is not to be left alone in the presence of Jason Lord. This copy does not have the received by January 8th. Okay. Now, this right here. Do you see how this stamp is offset? Okay, the stamp is offset to the square, right? And that's a huge indicator that somebody has modified this and changed these paperwork in the Shasta County Superior Court. And let me explain, okay? See how this one's centered in the box? Okay, see how this one's offset in the box? Now, if somebody were to just basically make a copy of this paper that was filed in Shasta County Superior Court clerk's office, right? If somebody were to just take a copy of that, then this would have matched up to it, and it would have been boxed in the same. Okay, the fact that both of these are filed on the same exact date, right? Kendra's allegedly filed this to serve me with child custody, visitation, and temporary emergency custody orders. It's signed and dated by Commissioner Stromberg on this date, and then the same exact paperwork is filed in the Shasta County Superior Court. The only difference is, and the reason why I know that this is it was originally filed there was because of this received January 8th, 2020. I mean, obviously, I know that I filed this, correctly and served it on Kendra. Obviously, I know that for a fact. But what I'm saying is the way that you would be able to tell that this was filed is this stamp right here, received, right? It's received on January 28th. Now, not only that, but I mean, like, everything is almost so perfect, almost the exact same, except for just minor details. Look at the little loop on the G right here and the little loop right there. That's not on here. That would mean that Commissioner Stromberg herself rewrote this order, right? This order that was originally filed on January 20th. That would mean that the Commissioner Stromberg, because this is her handwriting, rewrote the notes on the bottom, and there's a little change in the signature. That would mean that the judges in Shasta County Superior Court have been changing the case files and legally filed paperwork. Okay, that's beyond the clerk's office, as well as that the fact that this paperwork was filed originally by me and then changed to her name, and that she filed emergency custody orders, and then not that I filed emergency custody orders. And this is what I was saying, is that I'd been filing emergency custody orders of my kids for the past 3 or 4 years. So what's in the case file now, right? So June 4th, we just had another court date. Okay, and we went over child custody and child support. Okay, and the judge asked me, Judge Barton asked me about the dissolution of marriage paperwork that was filed on January 11, 2020. And she asked me about me filing this paperwork. I told her, I was like, I never filed for divorce. And she looked at me like I was nuts, right? She goes, you never filed for divorce. Well, I have paperwork right here, Mr. Snyder, that says February 11th, 2020, you filed paperwork. I said, Your Honor, I said, I never filed any divorce paperwork in Shasta County. I know for a fact because I've been arguing over her mental health and her mental diagnosis from the beginning. And I've also been arguing over the fact that this case should have never been in Shasta County in the first place. Well, she said, she got frustrated and she said, I'm looking at the paperwork right here and you're telling me that you didn't file it. And I said, yes, Your Honor. So she handed the case file to the bailiff, the marshal, who would then handed it to my public defender, Felicia Ring, and they handed me the case file. So now I finally have the case file in front of me, and this has been the first time that I've seen the case file in a few years, but the first time that I've seen this paperwork, okay? And I said, Your Honor, this is not mine. This is not my handwriting. I said, it looks similar to my handwriting. I said, but it's not me. I said, there's two different handwritings, and if you could tell right here, there's two different handwritings right here. And I said, I never filed that paperwork. So she wanted me to look at specifically this piece of paper, this form right here. So this is not my signature, okay? That is not mine. And then not only that, I mean, like, look at it. This is exactly how it looked in the case file. It was like all smudged and looked like two copies of it. And I said, Your Honor, I said, that's not mine. I said, somebody forged that, falsified records. Look at this paper right here, okay? This is very important. This is the UCCJEA form and court order. Okay, this was filed in Sacramento County. Originally filed in Sacramento County. Sacramento County was jurisdiction over this case, and Judge Gibson basically granted her a restraining order in this county and has been arguing with the state of California over jurisdiction of this case for the past 7 years. 7 years, man. I want to show you something really quick, okay? I know who filled this paperwork out. All this stuff that's filled in that by my handwriting is not mine. Okay, and I'll explain why. All right, this handwriting is somebody else's, and I know whose it is. I know where this paper came from, but they would have to be called and subpoenaed to the court. Okay, but this is my point right here. 2016 to 2018, Redding, California, Kendra Snyder, mother. They're saying right here that Jace, my son Jace, lived with Kendra from 2016 to 2018 in Redding, and 2018 to 2019 in Redding, and 2018 to 2019 in Anderson. That's incorrect. That's not true. We lived in Sacramento all the way up until 2016. Okay, those addresses should be inputted onto this paperwork. Okay, not only that, but my kids lived with me the majority of the time from 2017 to 2019, and that's not entered onto this paperwork. Okay, not only that, but the addresses aren't entered. You know, you can't just put generally Redding. You know what I mean? You have to enter it. You have to enter in the address. But look right here, like you see that photocopy like marks right there. Like that shouldn't be like it shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? Like this is legal documentation. This shouldn't be like doctored or photocopied and changed, you know? And this is obvious right here that somebody changed this document from the original. It's like a photocopy mark right there. Now, it may not seem like very important, it might be just a flaw or, like got copied wrong or something different, right? But the fact is that all the paperwork in the Shasta County Superior Court case file is like that. And once you start going through and you start looking at these signatures, like, this is not my signature. It looks similar, but it's not mine. And then this is really bad. Like, this is not mine. I would never write that. This is type or print, and this basically means like not signature, not cursive. And then somebody used cursive, right? And I don't sign my name like that. And then not only that, but that's definitely not my signature. So that's the divorce paperwork. This is the dissolution of marriage paperwork that was filed in Shasta County Superior Court recently, right? It was added to the case file recently, right? And this is how they controlled the divorce finalized the divorce between us. And then Kendra went and got married to Jason Lord. Now, if you think about it, like, why did that happen? Right? Like, why did this paperwork get filed in, like, put in the case file, right? And backdated to the February 20th, right? And then all of a sudden now Kendra and Jason can get married. That's the connection between everybody together, right? That's the connection, that this was a conspiracy and that they were all working together to do this to me and my kids. That's conspiracy to commit abduction. And that, not only that, but that means that Jason Lord is aware, Kendra's aware, her attorney's aware, Judge Gibson's aware, Commissioner Stromberg's aware. These are all people that are committing crimes, right? Stephanie Bridget's aware. Stephanie Bridget and District Attorney in Amara just recently, in 2022, had me arrested and thrown in jail. And I sat in jail for 9 months, almost a year, because of this case, because of things that Kendra said about me. And my attorney said that, basically Kendra came to court and started acting hysterical and like flailing her arms around. And everybody in the courtroom was saying, oh yeah, like, she's lying. She's a liar. Right. But so I asked my attorney, I said, okay, does that mean the case is dismissed? And he goes, no, not at all, because they're pissed off at you. Like, that was the reason why I stayed in jail for a year, was because they were mad at me. They're mad at me because I have this evidence to prove that they've been doctoring these case files. Now you need to understand how illegal this is. I mean, this is highly illegal. Not only that, but I'm separated from my kids right now because of a protective order in court that should have never happened. My kids are, and nobody knows where my oldest son is right now. My two youngest kids are running away from Kendra's house, and it's all based because Judge Gibson has been changing records and doesn't want to get in trouble. And then these other judges helped him. Now, I've said from the very beginning, I said I have enough evidence to put them all in jail and that they should all be arrested and let me just provide the evidence. But the district attorney wanted to argue about it, and the state attorney general's office wanted to argue about this case. So I basically am forced to post this on YouTube and online on Facebook and Instagram to get help. Thank you.